All right. Hello. Welcome to the deep dive. Happy Friday. Let us organize some of these windows here. Right. Bug friend here. What is up? Be Autograph over in the YouTube. Nice to see you today, my friend. Let's... There, okay. I think we are good to go. So welcome, first of all. Thanks to everyone for watching. If you are new and don't know, my name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. This is the Deep Dive, which is a weekly live stream program where we are diving into CircuitPython. This is a live stream that was started by Scott Shawcroft, the lead developer of CircuitPython. He is out right now on parental leave. I am filling in for the deep dive, so I am here. It is a sort of technical stream in nature. We're usually digging around inside of code and microcontrollers and things like that. If you are new and don't know anything about CircuitPython, you can learn more about it at the main website for the project right here, circuitpython.org. This is basically a version of Python that runs on tiny computers called microcontrollers. And I am continuing this week with some work on an upcoming, yet to be released, but is on the way microcontroller, the Fruit Jam. So we are working on the IRC client, which I think I did a bit last week, maybe on the stream as well. If not, this one on my own stream. But yeah, we're picking that back up today. I did 2x my usual walking yesterday and was hot on the way home, but I had water and bought pie. Nice, good pie. And I feel you there. I've picked up the amount that I have been walking the last couple of days as well, and it has also been hot. And I've been taking water with me, which I was not doing for a while when it was more temperate. It was not. I don't necessarily like to carry my water around, but it's definitely hot enough that I end up like halfway through it by the time I get back, especially if I go the longer routes that I've been doing. I've been going first thing in the morning, try to beat the heat a little bit, but I get out in the afternoon. Yesterday or the day before as well. It was pretty warm out there for sure. All right, so if you would like to help support CircuitPython, one of the easiest ways to do it is purchase hardware from Adafruit. This is their website, adafruit.com. They make hardware and software. They pay fine folks like myself and Scott to work on open source software, including CircuitPython and other things. So it's super easy. If you want to support it, you can just purchase hardware from them. They have the microcontrollers. They have all sorts of bits and bobs that you can hook up to your microcontroller to write programs for, to make projects with, to do things, to have fun. This one has caught my eye. I actually wrote the code for this, so it's super cool to see it featured here on the project page. It's like a wormy, spirally thing here. I wrote this as an example. I was working on the matrices, and I had a problem with sitting there and staring at it while it ran back then too. So I will move the tab so that I can try to not get squirreled away staring at that thing. So like I said, we are back in Fruit Jam world. I'm working on the IRC thing, IRC terminal client. And I think where I want to start today is scrolling. So I have this working pretty darn well. I added commands since the last time I was on stream. I added message sending, direct messages, direct message receiving, and then a handful of moderation commands like op and kick and ban, unban, deop. And I think we're getting pretty close to done with the IRC client, but there are the last couple of things I want to get into it are scrolling up and down, maybe also with page up and down to be able to scroll further than one line at a time would be nice. And then I need to deal with either scrolling left and right or else dealing with long lines in some other way. Slightly different than the one that was here. Then we'll take code curses, IRC, save that. We can't. And I do still just have the fruit jam. It has HDMI out. I have that hooked up to a capture card, which we can then view here inside of VLC. Nice and easy to put onto the stream. All right. And I have one of the other things I've done in this since I was last on the stream is implement TLS. So it's now going over port, whatever, 6697 instead of 6667, which is TLS port, and it is using TLS. I have noticed it's maybe a little more prone to not connecting properly or getting disconnected after it does connect. But it does work and it can receive messages, and I have seen it stay connected for a long time as well, so it's not as if it just falls off right away or anything. So I think maybe there's still room for improvement, potentially in ESP SPI or somewhere dealing with the TLS network connection internally. But if it starts getting bad, if I start disconnecting a bunch, maybe I'll switch back. I feel like anecdotally I had a bit of better luck that way. Okay, so I will jump back to here, and I have this room open. I can say something there, and then it will show up here. And just to illustrate what I want to work on. So right now we're basically using up the full vertical width. There's one extra line. Oops, there's one extra line, but that is actually the input line. So if we were to start typing on the keyboard that is connected to the Fruit Jam, so there's a USB keyboard plugged into there. If we were to start typing there, that's what shows up on this line. Send it. It does blink like this. I still have yet to plug into an actual display. I still need to double check and figure out if this is a thing that's only happening on the capture card or if this is a thing that happens on the real display as well. Figure out what's up with that as well. If it is on all displays, then it's worth maybe filing an issue. My suspicion is that it's like while it's doing work on the network, it's not kind of updating the display properly or doing something. I don't really know everything about what goes on internally for the display to work, but I suspect there's some period of time where the display is wanting to do something in order to draw stuff, and the network is taking precedent, and that's causing the display to go dark. Or the other potential option is garbage collection. So I know back before Scott left, he was working on garbage collection improvements. One of the ways that the garbage collection showed itself, I think, if I'm recalling correctly, was a dark screen while it ran. So that's maybe one thing to check is it dark while garbage collection runs? Or are we even like we're probably building up memory, because I think I am using 4 enumerate loops, which I find convenient, but do create tuples, which ends up using memory and then causing collection. Anyway, we're getting off into some of the other weeds. So really what I want to do though is scrolling. So we have this big list of lines. I would like it so that if I press the up arrow on the USB keyboard, we can go up and then press down to go back down. Right now, if I press up, nothing will happen. First thing that we need in order to actually do that is make sure that we can listen for the up arrow. And that is going to be inside of here. So we have this while true. We're doing this get key. And if I recall correctly, this can like return key codes for up, down, left, right. Because the thing about it is when you press the up key on a keyboard, it actually sends multiple things. It's like a, I don't know, maybe like a tilde and a square bracket. There's like some stuff. I don't remember what all of them are, but it's like multiple things. But the code in here actually, I think, turns it into just one constant that we can use. So go in here. So this is where get key is coming from. Special. This is something to do with maybe building up multiples. And then this is where it can do these. So I think maybe it can return these things. So let's just print the buttons as they get pressed. This is all the enter button right here. And actually it's not even, it's enter button specifically when the message starts with a slash. So those are all slash commands. I'm just going to say else, and then we are going to print K with unknown E. And this will show us what we're dealing with when we press arrow button. Oh, right. This can't be else. There, so let's do that. It is joining twice, I noticed. It prints join at the top, and then it receives the like message of the day, I think they call this, or whatever, the welcome message. And then there's like a listener that says, after you receive the welcome message, join the channel. We're actually joining twice, but it doesn't seem to cause any trouble. Okay, so I'm going to press the up arrow and down arrow. So yeah, those get translated into those strings key up and key down, which is super duper handy. So we can just say elif key equal, it's actually just k. If it equals up with one thing, I'm gonna pass for now and also do elif down. Keep that for some other keys too. Page up and page down would be cool to do next, but we'll see. So one thing we need is a concept of where we're at. We have right now. So what I'm gonna do, I think, is like we have this for loop right here, which is looping over all the lines that are in the message buffer, but it's actually taking a subset of them. It's taking the number of lines that we can show on the window -2, and it's taken those off of the end of the message buffer. So it's taken the last n lines, where n is the number of rows total for the window, -2 because we're using one row for the status bar and one row for the user input. But we totally could change this to start elsewhere, but it is gonna get a little wonky on us, isn't it? Why don't we, so let's make our variable. We're gonna need a I don't know, like a current row index. We're gonna, well, it started on 0. Then one question is, do we want to treat 0 as the I think I want to treat 0 as the bottom. So like you're always on current row index 0 if you stay scrolled down. Just the page scrolls past you, but you always remain on row index 0. And then when you scroll up, that's when your row index changes. So we need to basically switch this around. So right now it's always taken from the end, and we want it to take the same amount of things, but we want it to take it from a different index. I'm thinking we make a function where we can pass in the index and it's going to give us back a list containing all the ones we care about. So I'm going to call this like get page. It's basically like a page of messages. Page, and that's going to come with a row index. Which we will pass in from that. And what this is basically going to do, so we're going to have a page length, which is always going to be a constant. That's going to be this. Number of rows minus 2. And so one thing we can do is if row, well, do we need an if statement? I know that we might not need an if statement actually, which would be nice if we don't need to do that. So we basically need to figure out the correct slice of our list where we're starting, where we're ending at the end if this is 0, and then I think what I'll do is negative numbers. So this will be -1 and we'll scooch up by 1. -2, we scooch up by 2, so on and so forth. So we basically need to know where we're going to start. And where we're going to start is going to be the length of the actual buffer plus our row index if we're going to have that be negative. So the length of, I'm going to say start, page start of IRC client message buffer. Oop. Length of that plus row index, and then we will minus the page length. Typing operators for some reason. There we go. Okay. So that should be beginning of our slice, and then the end of our slice would be, yeah, technically that, but is that going to be, is that going to break if it's too big or whatever? Like if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and my goodness. So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and we try to go like 2 through 6, okay, perfect, that's good. That will just give us the end. Would be perfect when that's 0. Okay, yeah. Okay, so page start, yeah, that's fine. Page start, page length. So then we are gonna return the IRC client dot message buffer, but we are gonna slice it by page start, page end. Maybe we're off by 1 or something because these are different, right? This one's inclusive, this one's exclusive. Maybe we need a +1 here. Or actually, we need a +1 here. Do that, and then one of these for now, and we no longer will do the slice thing. Instead, let's just say they're enumerating get page of current row index. See if that broken or works. Same. Mostly the same, then it works. All right, so that's a good sign so far. We've got our page already in the works. Actually, nope. We're definitely kind of wrecked. So we have say page equals this, and we're gonna return page, but I want to know how big the page is. Print side. Let's just say get page length. And we should be expecting error. Yeah, so that's one of the ways that connection error 15 failed to send. So I think that that actually means we got disconnected a while ago, but we did not notice on our side. I think what we need to do is... Oh, right, okay. I think what we need to do is always be sending stuff. You know, basically send stuff to the server, because we can't tell that the socket got closed until we try to send something. Actually, I thought that I changed the code to make it so that we would catch that, but I guess it didn't work. So right now, the real problem is, though, we're no longer seeing the whole welcome message, which means that the paging mechanism is totally not working. We are asking for row index 0. Makes total sense, but we are getting a length of 3 only. Why would we be getting a length 3? Start. And out, print some more stuff out. Okay. Oh. So, is that they're starting in the negative. So the length of the message buffer plus 0 minus the page length. We need to start on 0 if this is negative. Say max. So if it's negative, we'll choose 0 instead. There we go. There we go. Better. Make sure some of the stuff works. Oops. Hi. Okay. Cool. That's working. So now all we need to do, if the logic actually works right, is change row index whenever these buttons are pressed. So if you press up, what we're gonna do is say we only really need to go up. I don't want to let them scroll past the end. So we only need to go up if there are more messages in the buffer than we can fit on the screen. So if the length of IRC client message buffer is greater than window in rows -2, is it greater equals? It should be greater than, I think. Only scroll up if we can, and in that case we're going to say cur row index minus equals, go down by 1. And then for down, we're going to say if cur row index, oh, we need something that stops at the end, though. I think we actually basically need this exact same calculation. We want to know where the page would start. I want to know where the page would start, and then if it's negative, we don't need to do anything. Unfortunately, we have IRC. Oh. Row index we don't have. That should be a cur row index. Seeing this plus on 0. Or start, basically don't change that if it is negative. If it is negative, that means we don't have anywhere to scroll. And then for down, we can just go if this is less than 0, plus it, and back down. See, I'm going to turn this off. You just spam stuff in. Okay. So if I just press up right now, it shouldn't do anything because there's nowhere to scroll. Stuff. Now we have scrolled by one line. So if I press up, nice, it scrolls me back up. Oh, but scroll is good. All right, what does down do? I'll go back down. Go back down. So I think what is happening there. Okay, let's go up by 2 real fast. Another one. Then up 1. Up 2. Okay. So I think what is happening is we're probably off by 1 and we're probably off by 1, and then what happens is we loop over these lines. If we're off by 1 and getting an extra line here, then it will get set line, which is essentially drawing it on the display. But then immediately afterwards, it will get cleared because this will clear the user input. So I guess let's turn that back on. Also add rows dot. Once we are scrolling, ideally the response from get page should be the same size as the number of rows. We have 31 rows, but we are returning we have end 32, I think 30. So end 32, it should actually be end on 31 because we want to have 31 things and we're taking a slice where it is inclusive on the left and exclusive on the right. So, but it's also 0 based. So 0 through 30 gives us 31 items. And therefore we need this to be 31 because that's 1 bigger than 30. This plus 1 was wrong, I think. Got him with the off by 1 error. Wherever it goes. Check the chat thing. Okay, let's fill it up. There we go. So we scrolled by 1. It actually end is 32. Oh, I did not change. and still 32. Oh, well, right now we are at start of 1. We're +1 from where we were a minute ago. So up arrow, we'll scroll. Nice, there we go. Okay, and I can't scroll again, so we can go back down though. There we go. Up and down and everything. More things. Now I can scroll up. So obviously it's really slow to scroll one line at a time. Which is why I think up and page down will be nice. So do these? Yeah, so there's already page up, page down. So let's go ahead and catch those. These, because it's pretty much gonna be the same. So the main difference is instead of -1, we're gonna minus by more than 1. And or should we already have done. Okay. All right, well, let's just do something, see what it does. I don't know if it's gonna work because we might need to like clamp this somehow, but let's see. Got page. It is less than 0. Add 6 to it, but we don't want it to go above 0. So let's actually go minimum of self plus 6. Everyone is smaller. Self plus 6 or 0. That back off again. Oh, I might not have given that long enough. If I don't give it long enough, then it doesn't disconnect, and then when I reconnect, it fails because the nickname is in use. Oh, looks like we did. Okay. All right, so we need to fill up some messages. Message. Hello. Accidentally did P. Oh, luckily I can backspace change. Showing the. Okay. Goes in. So page up. Okay, that got. Okay. and get completely wrecked. The colors are messed up. You need to like undo. Need to like undo the coloring. But otherwise, it might have worked. Scroll back down there. The one thing I would like to be able to do is page down. It's not, yeah, it's not letting me page down again. I actually do think I kind of want to allow you to page down one more time past the end so that you can have a chunk of like 6 or whatever messages that can come in before it ends up scrolling the entire page again. Because like the same reason why like scrolling by 1 like this is so slow, that's why I think it'd be cool if you could deliberately like page down by 6 and give yourself like 6 empty rows so the next 6 messages can come in and then it won't actually cause it to scroll. But I guess the problem is that it basically doesn't let it do that because we limited it to not go. We can't page down because it stops on 0. Maybe we shouldn't do that. How bad is it if we just don't completely wreck everything? I mean, maybe we even don't do that. Just let you go as far as you want. So that's gonna be, I mean, that's gonna be like offset, right? Like you have to be, you know, -1, and then it's gonna add 6 to get you to 5. If you happen to land on 0, then it's not gonna let you go anymore. We could say less than or equal to 0. Or we could just take this off entirely. Hope that it doesn't break. Honestly, this might break. All right. Put a Santa Claus. Okay. We have scrolled by 2. So if I press page down. Ooh. So it. I think the problem is that it didn't clear out the lines that are empty. It should be empty. So basically, it left the lines that should have been, like, basically everything under scroll should have been empty, but it's gonna have to deliberately clear them. Maybe this would do it for us. Oh. Okay. So that's bad. That's making this blink. Probably it would make, yeah, whatever we type would also blink. Recently caps locked there. Which is not what we want. So we need to -2 here. That's not blinking anymore, which is good. By 1, but can we just page down anyway? Nice. Is it completely wrecked though? Okay, yeah. So the problem now is it still scrolls. I don't want it to. So I think I assume that our connection actually failed. So if so I disconnected, or I control C'd and it tried to send the explicit disconnect code or whatever. And then when it tried to send that message, that's when it noticed the socket was actually already closed. Or that's when it noticed the socket was broken. I think what we need to do is, like, in the background, we need to be sending stuff on the socket with regular frequency, and then that way, if it fails, we'll know that we got disconnected. Maybe we could reconnect, or maybe we could at least tell the user, hey, you got disconnected. Maybe Control C, Control D would relaunch you. All right. Put some more of this back on. Let's fill this. Yeah, see, the weird thing is, like, sometimes when I send the message, it blinks, but sometimes it doesn't. So it's, like, well, unclear how it decides when it's page down. So we have a length of 25. We started on 6. We ended on 37. We could cap that with max, maybe, but yeah. So the problem is when a new message comes in, this 6 is not going to change. Okay. I gonna run to the restroom real fast. I don't necessarily. We only have about 10 minutes left, but I don't necessarily want to hold it the whole time. I think this index thing might have been the wrong approach. We might need to rethink that, or else we're gonna have to figure out how to get that number to change when we want it to. But I'll be right back. Okay. I think my mind off of that helped me. I think all we really need to do is we know the length right here, right? The length is 25. Really, what we can do is basically, if the length of this is less than 31, which is a full screen's worth, then whenever we go to put a new message in, we should subtract 1 from that. And then as it fills back up, we'll get back to 0. So actually plus 1 since we're going... Well, no. Subtract 1 because we're positive right now. One problem, though, is we don't... So inside of here... When we're inside of here, we don't know... know that a new line is going to go in. How do we know that a new line is going to go in? I guess update could return. It's tough though because even that doesn't work entirely because these could be things that don't end up on the screen. So this is every message that comes from the IRC server. All of them get passed to process message. Some of them don't actually cause the display to be updated. I guess what we're going to do is updated display lines 0 and then updated display lines plus equals the result of this. Make this return lines added. Added 0. So basically we want anywhere that we say self.messageBuffer.append. It's off. Everywhere that we add a line, this returns early. Ping, we can return 0 because a ping does not put anything in the early return. Process message. It's the only return, so then get all the way to here. Turn. So now process message returns lines added. Date. Updated display lines. Updated. So basically, if it's added is greater than 0, length of the page. So if lines added is greater than 0 and length of page is less than full amount we can show, then we x minus this might wreck us at the beginning. Let's stop at 0 though. Got disconnected. Why receive? It doesn't receive raise an exception. Thing that could be done is turns this. Shouldn't be none. And either this is none or that can't be none. Length of, I think length can return none. Get the length of none. It's not like that would return. So I mean lines added pretty much has to be none, right? Why would that Oh, this is the accept. Argument required. Okay. Maybe printing here causes it to be dark. That could be. I think I kind of remember Scott saying something about don't print. Or the basically printing stuff in. Now that we a lot more, it is. Right. So all right, let's hard because uh right now it's on index 5, its length is 26. Lines added 1, we changed to index 4. Length is 27. Start on 7. Something is. Why did this change right here? Where it changed? This kind of wrecked us. Because we were on 7, we went to 8, and then we went right back to 7. But the fact that this changed means we re-rendered the whole screen anyway, when the whole point of this was to not do that. And now I have scrolled the endless abyss of messages. Well, nah, this shouldn't have caught. Scroll. We need to do get page again after this. The problem is this is getting page. This is then potentially modifying cur row index. And then we're not getting page again. Which means that we use what we got here, even though we could have changed. And the next iteration, we actually end up with a different page. We just call this again. Wanted to be fancier, we could like only call it when this changes. Yeah. If that doesn't change, then we can just reuse it. All right, we will wrap it up here in just a minute. Anyone's got questions, comments, or anything like that? And I should mention too, I think I'm going, I don't think I will be streaming at the normal time tomorrow. I usually stream at 10 a.m. Central, but I am going to take tomorrow off. Okay. I might pop up later in the day, but I'm not sure. Not certain that I will, and I'm not certain what time it would be if I do. So always follow me on Twitch or YouTube if you want the notifications for that. There we go. That's exactly what we want. Okay, no scrolling unless needed. Case. Oh, get a timeout on the network. Probably we will be disconnected, or I mean, probably we will get the nickname in use problem. Yeah, nickname already in use. All right, let's turn off the prints. I think what is happening maybe is like when we print here, it's actually also spending time updating the serial console terminal. We can't see because this is actually a custom terminal that's in my program. But I think the system one is actually in the background there. Because like we could press Control C at any time and it would show us the system REPL and it will have all of this stuff that we printed in it. And I think what's happening is as we print stuff, it's actually spending time writing it into that thing, even though it's not visible. Which is nice because we could switch to it and then it, it becomes visible and it has that stuff in it already. But is also not necessarily as nice because it could be like causing it to scroll, which makes it slow. And then we could be spending time on that when we're actually like really would prefer to be spending time updating the one the user can see. Might go back through this and try to minimize printing. Yeah, it's like something there. But I don't get why sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. But the scrolling is my best. But you would think if it scrolled there, it would still be scrolling because we're printing like 3 at a time, whatever. But there we go. All right, I think that is going to do it for today. So thank you to everyone for watching. If you would like some more deep dive action, I will be back next week at the usual time, Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, for the deep dive here on the Adafruit channel. Like I said, I do usually stream Saturday mornings, but I'm out tomorrow morning. I gotta do some other things. Gotta run some errands, take care of some stuff first thing tomorrow. I don't know for sure what time I'm done with that, so I don't want to rush and try to get the stream going. So no stream tomorrow morning, but I should be back next week at the usual time. and then possibly I'll pop on sometime in the afternoon or evening or something tomorrow. We'll see. Don't know. Not sure what time, but that's what it might be. So thanks everyone. Hope you all have a good rest of your Friday night and a good weekend.